there's been lots of talk after the game, as you can imagine. But have you seen or heard any of the criticism about your own performance? And if you have, what have you made of it?
Yeah, I mean, I try and stay off it as much as possible. I think it's almost impossible not to see some stuff nowadays with all the different platforms. But yeah, I think me as a player, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I know when major tournament football's on, it's going to be even heightened, and you know, every performance is going to be scrutinised. And yeah, if I'm honest with myself, have I played the best that I know I can? No, but you know, I didn't score in the group stage in the World Cup. I didn't score in the group stage in the Euros. So from my point of view, it's a bonus to be one goal ahead. But yeah, you know, I'd always judge myself first, and of course I know I can play better, as I know, you know, a lot of the players think the same in the team, that we can all play a little bit better. And yeah, and that's what I do. You know, I don't panic. I don't get, like, you know, too high or too low. I'll keep doing what I do, and yeah, just go on to the next one.
And finally, I don't know if you heard his podcast, but Gary Lineker had a word to describe England's performance in his podcast. Do you think it's helpful for somebody like him to describe it as shit on the eve of such a big game, particularly when you're top of the group with 4 points? And do you think maybe you should stick to flogging crisps?
No, look, I think it's always, you know, I'd never want to be, you know, disrespectful to any player, especially, you know, a player who's worn the shirt and knows what it's like to play for England. But of course, I think what maybe ex-players or ex-players who are pundits now have got to realise is that it's very hard not to listen to it now, especially for some players who are not used to it, or some players who are new to the environment. So yeah, I always feel like they have a responsibility. I know they've got to be honest and give their opinion, but also they have a responsibility of being an ex-player, an ex-England player that a lot of players looked up to, that, you know, people do care about what they say, and people do listen to them. So, like I touched on, everyone's got their opinion, but the bottom line is we haven't won nothing as a nation for a long, long time, and you know, a lot of these players were part of that as well, and they know how tough it is. So it's not digging anyone out, but it's just the reality that, you know, they do know that it's tough to play in these major tournaments and tough to play for England. But yeah, look, I'd never disrespect any ex-player. All I'd say is just, you know, remember what it was like to wear the shirt, and that their words are listened to, and you know, some of the lads, or I don't know how many of the lads, but you know, you do hear it, and we all want to win a major tournament. I'm sure they want us to win a major tournament, and yeah, being as helpful as they can and building the lads up with confidence would be a much better way of going about it.
Thanks.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
You've spoken really well about the team and yourself in that. I just wondered on Gareth. I mean, obviously, after the Denmark game, he gets a load of criticism. He's used to that. And generally, he seems to get a lot of criticism, whatever he does, quite frankly, at the moment. You've worked for some of the very best club managers. Can you give us an appreciation of how good Gareth is, and maybe whether you think he's sort of underestimated outside the England bubble? Because, like I say, he seems to get it in the neck, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can't speak highly enough of Gareth and, you know, what he's done for the team and for this nation in terms of, you know, where we were and where we are now as a national team is completely different. I think he's brilliant on the details, making sure that kind of there's no stone unturned, and that we know everyone knows what they're going to be doing going into games. Just as a person, and you know, giving us the freedom to be ourselves, and whether that's on the pitch or off the pitch, just to feel comfortable doing that. So I think being England manager is, you know, a really difficult job. That's the bottom line. He knows that, and we all know that. And there's always going to be people who maybe criticise him or doubt him. But you know, I think his record speaks for itself. He's been extremely successful with us. But like all of us, and like I know he wants to, we want to take that next step and win it, and we're all really determined to do that. So he will do what's best for the nation. He will make the decision what's best for the team. And all I'd say is just to, you know, get behind him, support him as the players do.
You said, you know, it's possible that young players could hear that and be, you know, it could affect them. Is that the case? Have younger players mentioned it? Has it been discussed in the group?
No,
and you think they are being...
No, no one's mentioned it, but, you know, yeah, we live in a world where on your phone now everything pops up, or it's hard to really switch off from everything. But yeah, as always, like I keep saying, I'm not. People are going to have their opinions. I'm not saying to not talk about it, or the pundits to say this could be better, that could be better. That's part of football. That's part of being a fan. That's part of why we love the game. But yeah, all I'd probably say is just to trust us. We've been here, we've done it. A lot of us have been in these moments before, so just to trust us and as much as possible get behind us, and that'd only give us confidence and yeah, help us to achieve what we want to achieve, and that's to be successful.
Harry, there's a sort of perception that the balance of the team wasn't right against Denmark. I mean, you've always thrived when you've got kind of quick runners beyond you like Son or Sané or I guess Rashford and Sterling for England. And now it feels like you and Jude and Phil all want to kind of pop up in the number 10 spot. I mean, can that work, do you think? Or are there too many players trying to do the same thing in this team?
I think I'd probably say from all of us, maybe just a little bit more, positional discipline. Maybe is a word. Just when we look back at the games, there was times where we were a little bit too deep, and not just us as well. Like certain areas of the pitch where we had too many numbers kind of behind their kind of press or their kind of block, and then we found it really hard to then progress up the pitch. So. Yeah, I think just like I said, I think as we play more of each other, especially in those positions, it will get better and we'll have more understanding. But yeah, just maybe a bit more discipline in all of our positional play. We all want to maybe get on the ball and make a difference, which is great. It's we're all players who love getting it in those positions. But yeah, also we need to be a threat going forward, which we haven't been, compared to our usual selves. So yeah, again, it's something that we'll work on and see what areas we can improve. But I don't think there's an issue with us free playing with each other, for example. I think the seasons that we all had speak for themselves, and yeah, there's no reason why we can't start ramping that up on the pitch and getting to a level that we know we can.
And Leicester.
It's just about the pundits again. Have you, in your capacity as captain, reached out to anyone, or would you if it continued? Because they all invite you on their programmes and want to do interviews with you. So
yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one because, of course, I'm sure they would love to have my opinion and love to, but as you know, when you're a player, you're more focused on the team and more focused on the environment. Yeah, look, again, I'm not telling people not to do their job. It's their job to analyse the game and analyse players. And there's some games where I'll get stick. There's some games other players will get stick. But I just think, yeah, just when you've been there and done it. Obviously, maybe when I'm 40 or 50 and I might be on one of those pundits trying to dig players out. I hope I'm not, but yeah, it might change. But it is what it is. But I think from my point of view, just with the experience of players who have been there and been in the experience and maybe not played well in certain games and know it's tough to play for England. It's just like, okay, well, maybe take a step back and see where you were and what it was like.
But have you contacted anybody about that?
No. But, well, yeah, I mean, it depends on the situation, I guess. I don't think there's a need for it at the moment. I think, especially now, with the podcast, with everything, people are trying to promote their own channels and promote their own stuff. And sometimes, as we know, the headline or the phrase, you want the most views. It's not always the happiest phrase or the one that people love to see, that people like to discuss and debate. And so yeah, people will do things out of their own gain as well to promote their own stuff. That's just life. That is what it is. But yeah, as always, like I say, just first of all, just try, from our point of view, just to ignore it, but then also, try and back the English players as much as possible. We're doing as much as we can to make everyone proud, you guys proud, the fans proud, the pundits proud, and I know they'd love nothing more than we're all celebrating, after the Euros together, and that's hopefully what we can try and achieve.